Yeah, hi. Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your late, out of date Saturday night main event review. The return of Saturday night main event, the first one since 2008, basically. Um, so WWE used to do Saturday night main event. It was basically before Monday Night Raw. It was one of their events that they would usually do, but it was not like basically a every week show. It was like basically like those one of those shows that they would normally do when back in the day they didn't have pay-per-views like as the big fours. Like I mean, what I'm trying to say is Saturday Night Main Event was basically their TV show that they would do when they didn't have pay-per-views that month, or at least like prior. At least it would be used to build up to certain pay-per-views like a WrestleMania, like a SummerSlam, like a Royal Rumble Survivor Series. So it was one of those shows that WWE used to do on certain Saturdays throughout the years back in the late 80s, the early 90s. Back then, obviously they treated the show as big, big matches, stories that were transpiring to build up to big pay-per-views. But again, regardless, they were treating it as like matches you would probably even see at WrestleMania. Or at least like WrestleMania caliber matches that would happen at least that month, or just big matches in general that you would see at a freaking Survivor Series or SummerSlam and in general. There was definitely a big spectacle for television back in it. Again, even though it was not technically Saturday Night Main Event, the main event show, the main event was when it had 30 million people watching Hogan versus Andre when they had the rematch from WrestleMania 3. That show, again, the show main event, Saturday Night Main Event used to mean something. And that's why I do like that they brought it back, and I do hope that they treat it as with quality. I hope they actually treat it as with some importance, like they did back in the 80s and 90s, and even even the ones like at least they treat hopefully with quality, just like how they did when they did bring it back for a little bit back in '06. I did remember watching Saturday Night Main Event when I was younger, with the 2000s version. Um, Compared to obviously the 90s and the 80s, definitely was not as big, unfortunately, especially the one from 2008. And I guess because they poorly booked that show and had such a low reception, that's why they didn't really do that show. They stopped it, or they just didn't care for it. They sadly did not put much effort to care, because again, you had Raws and SmackDowns to worry about. Why would they really care to do a Saturday Night Main Event? Or I mean, that's also you have to understand around that time, with the Benoit tragedy happening and WWE going PG and all the bad publicity WWE was getting because of the Benoit tragedy. That's kind of how they basically, in a way, kind of stopped to do Saturday Night Main Event. There was no need for it, especially how poorly booked they did. It was their fault why they didn't get to do Saturday Night Main Event anymore. And they did bring it back as a live event special for like how they call their Saturday house shows. But again, that just like to me that's a downer. If you're gonna do Saturday Night Main Event, it should be like with quality, or at least a TV special. So I'm very happy they brought it back, and I'm hoping again they would treat it as quality. Was it quality with this show being back on TV, the first Saturday Night Main Event since 2008 to be broadcasted on NBC? Here's the thing. So I didn't watch the show live because I was at SantaCon. Again, this show had a lot of competition, especially being in New York. So this show was in Long Island, New York, the same weekend or the same day as SantaCon. SantaCon, for those who don't know, is a big convention bar crawl. It's similar to Comic-Con, but if anything, it's a cooler version of Comic-Con where all the cool people go to, all the baddies. To get on the big black couch, make them go, oh shit, oh shit. It's obviously it's a holiday type of bar crawl where you celebrate. It's a great social networking type of thing. I mean, not to people. It's a great way to be social and all that kind of stuff. Bring some holiday cheer along with that. And plus, it's charity because there's again when you donate the money, the proceeds do go to charity. So it's also a charity bar crawl, which is amazing. So that's the beauty of it. Um, you had that going, and I believe there was also like an NBA going on in Madison Square Garden. So already this show had a bunch of competition in the New York market. The show technically apparently was not even sold out. They didn't even announce that this show was sold out, and they were struggling to sell tickets. And I'm gonna tell you why. Again, you listen. WWE is not as big as it used to be, and there's also probably a reason why they stopped doing Saturday Night Main Events. You know, if WWE was still great, it would have been cool to see Saturday Night Main Event coming back. But again, I don't mind that this show again to bring it back. I just hope that they treat it with importance. The fact is, they did it on a weekend where it was when a show like or a convention like SantaCon's happening in New York, so it kind of was bad for them in business wise. But not just that, it's like how they treated this show, the card in general. Let's be honest here, the card going into it did not look as appealing as a show from the 80s and 90s. It was not as mega star power. You know, that's the problem. Again, like matches like the mega powers, you know, versus the $1 Million Team. You know, matches like that. You know, it seems to me, in my honest opinion, this show just felt like a typical like special Monday Night Raw on Saturday night. Well, this like if you really think about it, this show like what they did on the card was probably fine for a modern Monday Night Raw. You know, the problem is they did not treat this show as it should be, because again, Saturday Night Main Event, the beauty of Saturday Night Main Event, it should be again basically a pay-per-view spectacle type of show on TV. They didn't really treat that, in my opinion, because a lot of these matches you see could easily been a Raw show. And while it would have been perfect for a Monday Night Raw in terms of modern sense, even though, in my honest opinion, like this type of card would not be technically my go-to show where in terms of as a main card, but at least it would be fine in terms of Monday Night Raw modern style sense, because if you were to do this on a modern typical Raw, it actually would be better than usual. And again, I'm not saying the show was bad. So in terms of my opinion, the show wasn't bad. It was an okay show. But as a show like Saturday Night Main Event, I don't think it treated as much importance as it should be. You know? I'm not saying like, oh, you gotta bring back Hulk Hogan or whatever. But I mean, that would have been pretty cool. But again, that's just another thing. There's a UFC show going on during like same day as Saturday Night Main Event. What the heck? And Hogan was there with Kobe Covington. And sadly, he lost. But like seriously, they had a show and they didn't even have Hogan coming back. They didn't treat it like a spectacle. And also, like, you didn't have Cena there. Roman Reigns wasn't on the freaking show. Like, why wasn't Roman Reigns on the show to at least have a match, you know? Like, it's just sad to me that the Monday Night Raw on Netflix, they're treating with that more importance than Saturday Night Main Event, where Saturday Night Main Event should at least have the same type of importance as the Monday Night Raw for Netflix, the debut episode that they're building to. It should have the same amount of importance. But sadly, they didn't. Regardless, though, I'm not saying the show was bad. The show was not bad. It was an okay show, but I just felt like, you know, it wasn't as big as they should have treated it. But we're going to go through the card. It's actually pretty typical. I actually could remember in my head, so I don't need any notes. But I will say the big plus of this show, Jesse the Body Ventura appearing on this show was very fantastic. Was spectacular. Just seeing a commentator doing heel work, you know, and just saying the right stuff and being entertaining. It's such a refresh, especially again, just Jesse Ventura is one of the legendary announcers and commentators, and it's so great to see him on commentary again, and just him speaking in general was really cool. But yeah, and I did like the look of the old school look of the show. I like that the show tried to be retro feel, but it's just like that was really the theme. Like the Saturday Night Main Event show that they did in the 2000s didn't need to look retro, right? So unfortunately, this show kind of felt like what they were doing. It was trying to be like old school Raw, but it was not really old school in technically, but whatever. They did bring back like the old WWE logo, like the block logo on the ring, but they didn't have it on the freaking barricade. I guess a little nitpicky, but whatever. I like the look of it. It's fine. They had the old school ramp also. They didn't have, I think, the Titantron, but I mean, they had the Titantron like far up, but you know, at least it still helped and it all worked out. Jesse Ventura, the show did start with Jesse Ventura like, well, you know, I did appear on the show for 40 years, you know, I was back at the Bayas, you know, eating some nice fish, but then, you know, my government has lied to me before. They didn't tell me that there was thermite and feces in the Gulf of Tonkin. You know, I'm a frog man, don't you know? Don't tell me you got formal reps in you. Come on, don't tell me it didn't happen. I was there. I was there doing tricep extensions to go for talking. I'm a frogman just like myself, and the government hasn't, of course, lied to me before. I used that frustration popping up the iron. You know, I love Jesse Ventura, man. Even though he's a fucking massive libtard, and a dumb conspiracy nut, but he's a fucking hilarious commentator, and he's definitely a great WWE personality. That's for sure. It's great to have him back. He came out like, you know, here, let me tell you the real conspiracy, monsoon. That which all just a tour. You know, the true conspiracy is that you know, Cody Rhodes must not be the son of Dustin because, you know, he definitely does not have the pounds that has him. So he basically insulted, like, you know, he can't be his son, whatever. Anyways, first match. McIntyre defeats Sami Zayn. I like that the match started off a little, you know, fast-paced. Sami Zayn went to attack McIntyre right off the bat, but the match kind of slowed. Again, my problem with this match, or the show, though, is like the match could honestly been shorter. I do think that if they wanted to pace the show, matches should have been shorter. Again, that's also my problem with wrestling nowadays. It's just like these matches, like, again, when you're doing a show like this, when there's commercials, like I understand Saturday Night Main Event, and sometimes when you're trying to make it like a match longer, whatever. I mean, I just think like this is a WWE problem where the matches are longer than a commercial. You lose your attention span. Like that's the beauty of matches like in the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era. Not every match needs to be long. They could be long, and then like you know, once a commercial happens, then you have the next match or the next segment. You know, something like that. I just think the match kind of died down as because of commercial, but then eventually you had McIntyre win. But again, it's just like Sami Zayn looked like a dumbass because like, oh, get it, I'm gonna go outside here, but then I'm gonna get tricked to getting a Claymore. So he lost because of that. The match is fine though. Second match, Liv Morgan defeats Io Sky. She won clean, which I like. And you know, but then we had Rhea Ripley. She showed up like to confront Liv, whatever. But it's like they didn't do anything. Like after this heated personal rivalry, like they didn't even fight. They just posed with each other, whatever. Yeah, the match though, I didn't care much for the match, but it's you know not story. But I'm happy Liv won, and I did think you know Liv at least like look okay. She did look like she got a bloody nose, unfortunately, but you know that's the problem with like modern wrestling. They gotta be careful with how they do the hits. The third match, Gunther defeats Finn Balor and Damian Priest. This was definitely the match of the night in my opinion. I thought this match was definitely better than a one-on-one match. This match was more exciting. Damian Priest looked strong, and Gunther really looked good. A big power bomb from to a steel steps by Gunther, and then he eventually took advantage of Priest looking weak. And then Gunther, like, basically, you know, did a power bomb after a drop kick, and that's how he won. I did like the sequence of the South of Heaven and the coup de grace to Gunther. It looked cool. The match, a lot of things that happened in the match was pretty cool. For the time they were given, it was nice. Priest did, like, an Undertaker, like, an old-school clothesline. Pretty cool. But, yeah, regardless, the match was good. I thought it was a good match. Good triple threat. Then we see Jesse Ventura like, you know, my favorite thing about the show is Liv Morgan. God, Dominic could pick a girl. So he's like, you know what, Dominic, yeah, could pick a woman or whatever. Oh, you get to see a bunch of legends like Coco Beware, Tito Santana, George Valentine, Jimmy Hart, you know, a bunch of legends. Apparently CM Punk was on the show or backstage, but he didn't appear, which is like, what the fuck are you doing, WWE? Chelsea Green, fourth match, defeats Mia Yim or Mid-Chin, my chin, your chin. I'm happy Chelsea Green won the United States Championship. Again, I'm not a fan of the idea of the women having a mid-card title, especially two mid-card titles. But you know what? If you're gonna start off with, you know, I am glad that Chelsea Green. I just hope that she's booked right. Again, attractive lady, and you know, hopefully this does some good things. All right. The main event, Cody Rhodes defeated Kevin Owens. The match was, to me, better than the Bash at Berlin match. Really because, you know, they had some funny shenanigans with the referees getting knocked out. But again, the match to me was not really as exciting. It was an okay match, though. I thought the match was more faster paced, at least than the Bash Berlin. But it was not as great as I expected. But, the shenanigans did help the match. Kevin Owens did bring the chair in, but then Cody Rhodes took advantage by, because, Kevin Owens was, it backfired him. Crossroads, then he went. the main highlight of this show too was Cody Rhodes bringing back the Winged Eagle. So that was the big surprise for no one night only by Triple H. That what is he bringing for one night only? And it was the Winged Eagle Championship. Man, I gotta tell you, the Winged Eagle Championship looks beautiful. It's definitely a way better design than a fucking modern WWE title. So it was a welcoming thing. Again, I agree. A lot of people believe that this title should be back full time. It's a darn shame it's not. But yeah, that was a very beautiful. It's a very beautiful to see that. The match was okay, but again, like, in the end of the day, like, it was not. I didn't care much for the match, but at least, like, whatever. It's just great that Kevin Owens looks like weak, and like, what really we're doing like another match, like, what's there to do like after losing? And again, like, for his heel turn, it just like it would have been better for him to maybe win and then maybe lose the title back to Cody eventually, just to help make that heel turn meaningful. I didn't like what they did after the show. Apparently, yeah, the show was ending, unless they're running out of time, or for some reason, again, they think this is apparently good television, which is retarded, or this is good for mainstream social media bullshit, which is like, again, everything you should do should be on TV. Kevin Owens did a package power driver right after the match, when Cody was about to talk, that injured Cody. So yeah, Kevin Owens did his indie wrestling move, his ROH move or whatever, and after the match, Triple H confronts him and is angry and whatever. Again, we should see stuff like that on TV. It just sucks that we didn't see that on TV. But this is gonna be for social media views, which is stupid. Like, I get it, you want to appeal to social media, but again, if you want to make people care, they should be on TV. This is fucking Saturday Main Event, for crying out loud. Anyways, that's what they did. But again, given that, I unfortunately cannot rate that because that's not part of the show. As what they give for the show, I'm not saying the show was bad. It was an okay show. Again, definitely not worth missing SantaCon though. But it's not as big as they should have done. Again, they should have had Cena on the show, Roman, just to make people care, like to give a more big feel. But regardless, at least they did okay, in terms of like what they were doing. But it just didn't feel as big as they should have. But as for what they did, it's okay. I don't think the show would have gotten bigger ratings. I mean, if you want bigger ratings, you should have done like matches like Cody versus Roman 3. Because the goal should be making this show must see, the biggest matches possible, for a Saturday Night Main Event. But again, I get it. You're doing Cody versus Kevin Owens because of the story. I get that. But then why is Roman on the show? Why didn't he have a match maybe a solo or at least a tag match? Something. I understand they're doing their Ulafala Tribal Combat match on Netflix, but again, why not treat it as like something important, at least contribute to that show? You know what I mean? Anyways, that's what I'm not saying. Just keep real, get your gains, close magnificently. Spy missing bitches go, oh shit, that's what I'm going to say. Till next time. Peace. Yeah, bye. I gotta go, folks. But that's my Saturday Night Main Event review. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. And happy holidays.